40 things women are banned from doing. Since the beginning of time, women have been the subject of discrimination. The natural physiological phenomenon of menstruation has always been the source of cultural taboos and popular beliefs. A few centuries ago, a woman who was having her period was considered unclean, unworthy of being touched, or even approached by a rabbi. Guess what? Some countries still practice those abusive laws against women. In this video, you will discover 40 ordinary things that are prohibited to women from all over the world, including the United States. But before we go further, please show some support by subscribing to the channel and share the video with your friends on social media. 1. Canoe or sit on a chair, Polynesia. This prohibition is rooted in a religious belief. According to the rites, during their menstruation, Polynesian women should not pass over a structure or someone's head, nor could they sit next to a man or be on a porch of a house if a child was also there. Otherwise, the object or person was contaminated. 2. Mount Athos in Greece. Mount Athos and its access are forbidden to women. In order not to give in to temptation, the 3,000 monks who took a vow of abstinence, the only way out was obviously to banish women from a sacred place. Solution to get in? Disguise yourself as a man. Yes, trickery is allowed and even recognized. 3. Go public without a hijab, Islamic countries. In certain countries such as Iran and Somalia, women who do not wear a hijab, a form of veil, or are not accompanied by a mahram, whipped, beaten, insulted, and sometimes killed. In 2014, a Somalia woman was killed for not wearing a veil. In 2019, an Iranian woman was beaten to death in front of a mass for dancing in public and not wearing a hijab. 4. Mount Amman, Japan. This mount is another place of worship. No women allowed. These are the 3 words that can be read on a sign at the foot of Mount Amman. The religious authorities considered that women were too much of a distraction for the monks in full meditation. The sacred mountain, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, has long seen its nomination criticized for gender-based discrimination. 5. Football stadiums in Iran. Being a woman and loving football in Iran don't mix. For many years, women have been banned from playing football in the country and any other sport, by the way. The reason? Women are banned so that they do not hear the cries and insults uttered by these gentlemen in the stands. Rubbish. 6. Bethesda Golf Club, USA. You wouldn't expect golf to be among the places around the world that are off limits to women, let alone in the USA. And yet, the very select Burning Tree Club in Bethesda, Maryland is an all-male golf club. And for good reason. No woman is allowed on the green. Even the staff are exclusively male. 7. The beaches of Asandra, Milamaji in the Comoros. Are you a woman dreaming of getting to Asandra, Milamaji beaches, contemplating their crystal clear water and fine sand? Well, you need to think again. Access to women is strictly prohibited there, again under religious pretext. The religious authorities of the Comoros have decided not to disturb the serenity of these gentlemen. 8. Thermierding Water Park, Germany. First and foremost, it is the most important point out. This is the only one attraction in the park that is closed to women. And this time their excuse is based on love and concern from women, the authorities claim. This is a slide that takes you to a speed of 75 kilometers an hour. Fun, eh? Except that some women would have been victims of intimate injuries during their descent. So yes, the law is to protect women. 9. Adultery, Islamic countries. Women accused of adultery or extramarital sex are humiliated in public, while the man can have multiple women as they please. Many of them were stoned to death. In 2015, a video was released online showing a 19-year-old woman in the central province of Gore being stoned to death for alleged adultery. The 2-minute clip shows a group of Islamic men throwing rocks at a covered woman who is lying in a hole dug in the ground. A crowd of spectators can be heard shouting, "Hit her!" and "Allahu Akbar." The woman cries and screams can be heard, but no one intervenes to rescue her. 10. Caffinio in Greece. In places around the world that are forbidden to women, we find the caffinios. These are small male-dominated areas in Greece where men meet to play cards and drink. For a long time, the caffinios were exclusively reserved for men, but now they are letting more and more women in. 11. Kartakiya Temple, India. It was in Pushkar, India, that this temple was erected in honor of the Hindu deity Kartakiya. Legend has it that any woman who tried to enter the temple would suffer the wrath of the deity and be cursed forever. The temple is therefore forbidden to women. Well, at least as a precaution, they do not prefer to enter. 12. Picking mushrooms, France. In 1846, the catacombs of Paris were partly dedicated to the cultivation of mushrooms. This was strictly forbidden to women, whose menstrual period could turn and rot the plantations. 13. Wash or throw sanitary towels in the trash, Bolivia. The beliefs around the periods continue to discourage poor Bolivian women. Even today in Bolivia, young women who have had their period are not allowed to bathe and wash themselves or throw their sanitary napkins in the trash. The reason? The fear of contracting disease, including cancer. They were also not allowed to participate in religious activities or to contact religious articles. But these prohibitions are more in the rural areas than in the urban areas. There is still a long way to go. 14. Entering sports stadiums, Iran. Since the 1979 Islamic Revolution, women have been banned from attending sport events in Iran. This ban is part of a much larger cultural taboo concerning the proximity between unmarried men and women. A page of history was written in 2018 when female soccer fans were allowed to enter Azadi Stadium in Tehran to watch a screening of the Iran-Spain side of the FIFA World Cup. The ban is still in place today, although many hoped it would be lifted as a result of the event. 15. Stay and sleep at home, Nepal. In some remote areas of Nepal, an ancestral rite forbids women to stay in their own homes while they are menstruating. They must go into exile in an isolated hut to avoid infecting their relatives. 16. Fight on the front line. Most of the world's military units include women, but only a few allow them to serve in combat. Australia, Canada, Denmark, France, Germany, Israel, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, and the United States are among the countries that have lifted the restrictions on the role of women in fighting. Ironically, some countries still practice the law. 17. Talk to men in Malawi. An ancestral rite followed by the families in Malawi. Aunts of young girls forbid them to talk to boys of their age when they have their periods. 18. Share a motorbike, Indonesia. In 2015, Aceh in Indonesia province passed a law to prevent unmarried women from sitting behind a man on a motorcycle. Aceh is the only province in Indonesia to follow Sharia Islamic law. It also passed laws requiring schools to educate boys and girls separately. Also, since 2018, women are no longer allowed to eat with men unless they are married or the same family. 19. Place of worship, India. In several temples and mosques in India, women are refused entry. Although the country's Supreme Court has condemned the practice, it is still widespread, as women are perceived to be unclean when they are menstruating. 20. Study mining engineer, China. According to Xu Jishan, a professor at the Chinese University of Mining and Technology in Jiangsu, China, women are not allowed to apply for mining engineer courses. Some jobs are not suitable for women. Professor Xu argues, expressing concern about safety. In case you did not know, this is the same China that murdered up to 60 million innocent girls thanks to a combination of preference for sons and the cruel one-child policy. 21. Touch cattle or use running water source, Nepal. A Hindu ritual now banned by the Nepalese government continues to prohibit women in menstruation from using public water sources. They would bring bad luck if they were to touch cattle or even people. 22. Eat milk or honey, Bolivia. Bolivia does not laugh with the rules. Foods such as milk or honey are prohibited for women who are menstruating. They should not walk or play either, a real social problem. 23. Public works. In Afghanistan, women are prohibited from working outside their homes, including teachers, engineers, and most professions. Only a few female doctors and nurses are allowed to work in a few hospitals in Kabul. 24. Social activities. There's also a total ban on women's activities outside their homes if they are not accompanied by a mahram, a male relative. 25. Go to certain schools. In certain countries dominated by Taliban, it is also forbidden for women to go to school, university, or any other educational organization. The Taliban converted girls' schools into seminaries. The Sabarallah Temple in India, 26. In the ranking of places around the world that are forbidden to women, the Sabarallah Temple in India is on the top of the list. It is one of the most important places of worship in the world, and yet women aged between 10 and 50 are prohibited. Why, will you tell me? Because they are considered dirty during menstruation. Women are also considered too much of a distraction for these spiritually weak gentlemen. 27. Showing ankles, Afghanistan. Women whose ankles can be seen are whipped in public. If a woman refuses the humiliation, more severe sentences will be imposed. 28. Printing photos of women, Afghanistan. There's also a ban on printing photos of women in newspapers and books or hanging them on walls of houses or shops. 29. Wearing heels, Afghanistan. If you are a Western woman, I am sure you are in disbelief now. Yet it is banned for women to wear heels, so as not to make noise while walking. You may wonder why. A man should not hear a woman's footsteps. 30. Public transportation with men, Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, there is separation of men and women in public transport. The buses are marked reserved for men or only for women. It also prohibits in Afghanistan and some other Islamic countries for women too. Bathe in public, makeup including nail and hair color, deal with male merchants, travel by taxi without a mahram, seek treatment for a male doctor, wash their clothes near rivers or in public, have their clothes measurements taken by a male tailor, speak or shake hands with men other than the mahram, appear on the balcony of their house or apartment, celebrate the traditional New Year Nowruz on March 21st, which has been proclaimed a non-Islamic holiday. 40 things women are banned from doing. Since the beginning of time, women have been the subject of discrimination. The natural physiological phenomenon of menstruation has always been the source of cultural taboos and popular beliefs. A few centuries ago,